Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Q&A call inside of Offer Art. I'm so excited to see your beautiful faces. Come to the chat box and say hi. How are we feeling after week one of Offer Art? We had quite a bit of materials to dive into in week one. Put Offer Artist in the chat if you're feeling like you are becoming even more of the offer artist, you're claiming it, you've seen some gaps, you've seen where you need to make some shifts, you're cleaning things up, you're trusting yourself, you're building out your journey to serve your clients and your customers. Like, woo, offer artists in the house. Okay, amazing. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, also, we just have to establish, put June in the chat box. We're recording this live June of 2024. If you just feel like such a fresh energy for June, like, are we all about to blow it up in a way that doesn't even make sense, but makes so much sense because we lead ourselves so freaking powerfully? Yes, right? It's lit. Okay, so how this is going to work is I have all of the questions that you dropped on the Q&A thread inside of our Offer Art Facebook group, and I'm just going to go through and answer these questions. Cool. And if you're here live and you asked a question and you need any, like, hey, can I just clarify this one thing? We can do that. We have time for that. And I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. So be awake, be open to learning from other people's questions, because things that come up are going to help you come up to some new ideas as well. So put awake and ready in the chat box if you are awake, alive, present, ready, open. We're learning. Okay, here we go. Amazing. So I'm going to start with Hope's question. Hope asked, I'm working on figuring out just how to keep my client journey going after listening to the training video. So far, my clients typically leave after working with me because they don't really need to keep working long term with me. Honestly, I've always felt like if they did, I wouldn't be doing my job helping their bodies heal. I have clients come back to redo testing with functional labs and a consult, but it typically isn't more than 1 or 3 sessions, just to kind of check in on their body based on their labs. I've added many more modalities to my work since I started: energy work, human design, hypnosis, but I guess I'm not sure how to create a continuing journey with everything that I do and get the value across to people. Parentheses, clients have typically expressed their desire for not needing to go to a functional practitioner all the time, and even feeling duped by practitioners that try to keep them in for so long because they really just want to heal and heal quickly, and just the labs and what to shift will do that. Hoping this all makes sense, but any insight on how I might go about creating this long client journey and continued support would be amazing. Okay, this is a great question, Hope, and this goes for everybody. Continuing a long customer journey is for clients who want depth in your transformation, who want depth in the thing that you teach. So Hope, for you, that's stage one for clients who aren't necessarily creating depth in their healing, in living fully healthy. And I know for you, you specifically target business owners on having extremely healthy and energized bodies so that they can thrive in their body and thrive in their business. That is a transformation that people could choose to go on and deepen for a long time or not. So there may be some people in your customer journey who are dealing with more specific symptoms like bloat or chronic fatigue or acne or whatever, that painful periods, whatever that issue is, and they do the labs and they fix what they need to fix and get the supplements and fix their food, and all of a sudden they don't no longer have acne and they no longer have bloat and they no longer have painful periods and they can sleep through the night, and it's like check, check, and check, they're done. But especially for you, Hope, since you do things like energy work, working with human design, doing hypnoses, I imagine those modalities could really help people go deep on being like one with their body in a really profound way. Like, put a yes in the chat box if you feel me. It's not just like the basis of like, oh, I can get through the day without being bloated and fatigued and having acne. It's like, no, no, no. I am like an energy ninja, and I know my mind, I know my body, I know how to 10x everything in my energy so that I can 10x everything in my business. And when you're targeting people who get that, and they're like, I'm not here for just the basics of like average. I'm here to like optimize my body so that I can thrive in my business. And I want to lean into modalities like energy work, hypnosis, human design, so I can totally excel. That's a customer journey and a problem that you can solve for years for someone, that they can deepen for years. So that would be what I would continue to do, is target those people who want that depth and have that be the way to continue to go beyond just basics, but absolutely excel. So Hope, if you're here live, or just anybody, does that land for people? Put a yes in the chat box. And I want people to get this too, that like, that's why too, what you're building, and I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but it's important. It's so much bigger when you're building a movement than just solve this really quick problem, like sign on clients, heal your painful period, lose the weight. When you start to shift in a direction of building a movement in a home space where you're shifting identities for your clients, they never want to leave because they can deepen that work forever, no matter what your basic modality is. Yes, which is why I encourage us to all lean in that direction. Okay, amazing. Hope that was helpful. Hope. Okay, Natasha, moving on. How to create higher MRR if current product suite requires done for you work, which cuts the spots available. Yeah, of course. I'm currently reworking my suite and seeing how I can pivot to done with you model, looking at continuations in my offers or overlapping one another. I know I need to make it cleaner so no brand continuations are created without requiring me to do more done for you work. Right now, my suite is not scalable. I know I'm the offer artist and will find a way to make it so. Yes, of course you will. I would love your input on how done for you providers like OBM, tech systems, can build a scalable offer without losing the essence of what I do. Yeah, this is a great question. The hands-on management or hands-on building that many business owners hire OBMs for. Yes, this assignment is eye-opening and making me see I need to open the floodgates to creating something that perhaps hasn't been created before in my lane. Okay, Natasha, this is a really great question. So what I would do for you as an OBM is you can have your highest proximity, most expensive package be that done for you service where you are an OBM for a business owner. Perfect, amazing. But like you're saying, limited spots of that because you're going to want to start focusing on scalable offers. What I would do for a done with you service is a couple of different things. Number one, you could create courses for business owners to go through with OBMs that aren't you, but it's like a system of like, here's what you need to do when you're hiring out, and here's what tasks to delegate, and here's how to have good, team communication, or whatever your systems are that are going to help business owners utilize OBMs well. And like OBMs can watch this portal if they're kind of newer to being an OBM and the business owner is newer to hiring, and go through it together so that they're managing that hiring process really well. And you can sell those courses on repeat and it won't take up any more of your personal time. And then if you want to host things like Q&As and stuff like that and have a level of proximity, you can do that in group settings for all of these different business owners with their OBMs is one thing. And the other thing you could do is actually start to teach people how to be OBMs. So I actually have a friend of mine who was a virtual assistant.
Reading my mind. That was my like exact thought process. Because like
Amazing.
I feel
You're
like
on
I've
it.
just made it so easy for everyone else. Like, how the French toast, do you know this? I'm
Yes.
like, well, isn't it just like fun? Like, no, you're nuts.
Yeah. So create that system. And another expansive thing for you is I have a friend who was a VA, and she started off by being a VA for business owners. And that's how she started like booking out, just being a VA. But then she actually started teaching moms how to be VAs. And she built out this program, Mom to VA is actually what it was called. And she turned that into a 7-figure business, just scaling out mom to VA and teaching moms how to make 5K months by being moms and working from home. Because I know OBMs and being a VA is actually a really appealing job for a lot of people that want that, balance and that
Yeah.
autonomy.
Because
So I think that
technically, like
that could be great.
OBM, it's only like an hour, hour and a half a day max. Like
Yeah.
when you get to like the level that you're supposed to, like it's very rigid guidelines. I would never talk to someone that's below 6 figures. It has to be blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, snooze best. Like, no one wants all this. So I'm like, maybe if I made it a little bit more spicy, where it's not like it has to be hourly only, and like you're cutting yourself to be like behind the scenes, but I'm like, well, can't we both be like the star of the show in our own way?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, okay. I feel like I'm on the right track here.
You're
Okay, that's
totally
really
on the
like,
right
yeah,
track. So this could turn into a very scalable offer suite as you expand the brand.
okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for you, Natasha. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Moving on. Feel good. Okay, amazing. Cool. Karen, when it comes to strength program and courses in my product suite, I feel like they don't blend into each other smoothly. For low ticket, I have Collective membership, which right now consists of 2 live classes a month, monthly or seasonal challenges that can add more live classes a month, and weekly on-demand videos, old classes I'm repurposing. I don't love the layout of the membership. I would prefer more weekly training classes people can take live. She says, I would prefer this, but then says, but I feel I'll run the risk of burnout or not being off if I'm doing all of those live classes. Okay, so there's a little mix in what you want there, because you said, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. So we'll address that. But right now it's $97 monthly, and I would like to create space where it lives at 150. Okay, amazing. My mid-ticket offers are currently my Metamorphosis membership, 6 months of mentorship that focus on holistic wellness tools, nutrition, mindset, movement, and Voxers included. I also have right now Lift Like a Lady. I haven't made it yet, but it's going to be seasonal programs people can join in DIY, but have the opportunity to meet up, ask form feedback, where they're stuck, recovery tools, etc. And Voxers included. Okay, interesting. My top tier is they can either do nutrition or strength or do a combo. Would love some ideas for strength and nutrition coaches that allows people up and down my customer journey. Okay, amazing. So a couple of different things. For your membership, I would design for the business that you want and where you're taking the business in terms of deliverables. So if right now I'm looking at your sentence that says, I'll run the risk of burnout and never being off for a $97 a month membership, if you don't want a monthly membership where you are required to get on Zoom calls 2 times a week live or 3 times a week live or whatever that is, I absolutely would not design the space to be that. Grow into the offers and the deliverables and the business model that you're growing into. So what I would look at for you, Karen, is, and this goes for everybody with memberships or anything low ticket really, you can design the deliverables to be what actually gets you excited to show up for consistently. So the thing about a membership, the thing to keep in mind about a membership is there's this component of needing to keep it alive, okay? Membership, I find, does not perform well when it's just a portal of trainings, how to do X. Here's a portal of trainings. What will happen is people will come in, they'll absorb things, they'll leave, right? Whereas if a membership is alive and every month it's kept fresh in some way, shape, or form with new trainings to dive into, new material, new ways to connect community, that gives it a focus and keeps it as a living, breathing, alive home space month to month. And that's why people stay. Okay. So that being said, giving yourself deliverables in the membership that get you excited to show up for consistently month to month rather than it feeling like a drag. Okay. So, and this goes for everybody. Like you can get creative. It's like, I know Karen's in fitness, like, is that just new challenges every month or every 6 weeks? And the challenges change in terms of like what fitness programs you're doing, and maybe that's more like, programs that are in an app and they get some kind of community access for you rather than you having to show up live to teach the classes. Something to consider. And there can be things that you do to keep it fresh and people can be connected, like they connect in their own community, or maybe you do things like once a month community workshop, or you do like drops in a Telegram broadcast where you can give riffs or little mini trainings and they can comment underneath it and get excited about that, or there's prizes within these different challenges, things like that. But build for what you want, and then of course allow it to be less proximity obviously than your Metamorphosis mentorship. Here's the thing that I would consider about like what you have, where you're saying, I also have Lift Like a Lady mentorship. To me, you're almost adding things that are starting to compete with one another. like there, to me, Lift Like a Lady mentorship, the one that you haven't created yet, that's more like seasonal programs, and they have the opportunity to ask for feedback. To me, that's almost like starting to compete with your mid-level and starting to compete with your low ticket. So I personally would go, okay, you have your low ticket membership and you have your mid-ticket membership. And in your mid-ticket membership, there's a higher level of proximity. Like you said, they get some messaging access, they're working on nutrition, you're having mindset trainings, et cetera, et cetera. You're doing the fitness too. The fitness, I would make it so that it's obviously lower proximity. They don't get access, but it's just giving a piece of the puzzle. It's giving a piece of the puzzle, and it's the deliverables are designed in a way that feels very scalable to you, isn't taking up too much of your time. And then I think that the journey between the two becomes very, very simple, where people can either take the Metamorphosis 6-month program mid-ticket, keep re-signing, and that's how they can stay at a mid-ticket price point. If they want even more proximity, you can give it tiers so people can pay for even more higher proximity. Maybe there's some calls with you, one-to-one calls or more messaging access to you, and keep re-signing there. Or they can live in the membership or go back into the membership after, or just live in the membership month to month. And what you can do to keep the membership fresh is actually you can have the challenges that you're thinking about selling being a part of the membership, and people buy the membership to get access to the challenges, right? So you're like, oh, we're doing the whatever, the summer fit challenge, and that's what we're doing in the membership this month. The membership is $97 a month. Buy it, cancel anytime, and it keeps the membership fresh with these challenges and gets people in, and that's how you can market it. How is this feeling? Is Karen here? Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Does that land for people of like how simple that can be? And we don't have to add like that whole Lift Like a Lady mentorship thing, Karen. Sometimes if we're adding offers that directly compete with our other pieces of our product suite, don't add them. Just send it to the two distinct membership, low ticket versus mid ticket membership. Okay, moving on. Angela said, I'm going to take a quick sip of my kombucha in a mug. Okay. Angela said, my question is that I feel like I am more clear on what the path could look like now. Amazing. Free pull-up workshop is $297 into a 6-week pull-up program, into 3 months of the coaching community. After the 6 weeks, we lead them into the next step, which is either doing track 2 of the pull-up program, or they go into Strong Feels Good coaching, which is $1,500. I could possibly credit the $297 for being a part of PUR, of that higher ticket program. If that's too much for them, we can downsell them to my $47 membership or something with track 1 and track 2 of the pull-up program. Okay, question. Is the above still too complex? No, it's not. Is going from $297 to a $1,500 product too big of a gap? No, it's not. I'll talk about that in a second. It's perfect. And what do you think would be a good way to sell them to the next thing? Okay, I'll answer that. Book a call with me after they complete the pull-up program, or have a questionnaire to see where they are at and what their next step could be. Well on my way to creating an offer suite that all connects, but still some pieces to work on. Okay, I think this looks really good. In terms of, is $297 to $1,500 too big of a jump? No, absolutely not. It's perfect, because to me, $297 is like that micro program, that pull-up program at 6 weeks. Come here, start feeling strong, get your first few pull-ups. And then if you want depth on X transformation, I assume that your Strong Feels Good coaching $1,500 program is like, we're taking everything to an elite level. You want that level of proximity, like you want to go ham on this. It's perfect. It's just the way, it's actually, Angela, very similar to my product suite when I sell things like Offer Art, or I sell things like Trailblazing Content. They're micro programs. And then on the back end, I pitch the Trailblazers, which is my 6-month mastermind, and it's $3,000, right? And they're different price points because it's different lengths of time, different levels of proximity, and people get that. And if they want to go deeper with you, that price point absolutely makes sense. And they're ready for that now because they have so much trust with you after the pull-up program. Now, in terms of what do you think would be a good way to sell them to the next thing? Everyone hear me when I say this. Sell on the back end of your offers. Sell on the back end of your offers. On the back end of Offer Art, I will unapologetically pitch the Trailblazers. And I'll talk about, if you want X transformation, come here. It's going to help you XYZ. If you're serious about ABC, why? Because your people want to be sold to. They want to go deeper on the transformation. And you're there unapologetically from a place of service, explaining based off of what you desire and what your goals are. Here are the different opportunities for you. Here's the link. Here's how to go. That's how we have to start thinking about selling. So on the back end of your pull-up program, Angela, I would get everybody on a live call, especially if you're running it blueprint style, like we're doing with Offer Art, where it's like, you know, we're running through a curriculum in a certain time frame live. Get everybody on a call, celebrate them. You did it. Oh my God, closing call. This is who you are. This is your identity as a woman who is strong. If you want the next step, here's the information. And I would lay out what the opportunities are. You can either go to pull up 2. If you're this person and you have this goal and you want this level of proximity, go here. If you just want the program with no proximity and you can hold yourself accountable, go to the membership. And if you're all in, you want all of the depth, you want to XYZ transformation, you should go to insert your $1,500 program. So let me know if that lands. And
yeah, actually,
yeah,
yeah, sorry. I was listening to all of it. Yeah, I guess my question is, because so I sell the pull program every single month. Like
yeah,
we sell like 60 to 100 of them every month.
amazing.
And then basically, you know I want them to focus on getting their first pull-ups. We have a whole onboard, we have all the emails and stuff like that. So what I'm thinking of doing is like right away on that first, intro message, because they're doing it on their own time. There's only like a call once a month, and it's like for new people coming in. So we don't really start and end together technically.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was, because it's very DIY, like I'm not like fully hands-on like coaching them. They're just kind of doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe at the beginning, I already have a video where I'm guiding them to that like already, because I don't do that right now.
I think in the beginning, you could say, if it makes sense, if at any point you want to upgrade to X program, you can use your 297 credit and it expires X amount of days after you purchase this to upsell, or don't say upsell, but to upgrade to this program, and you can have that from the beginning. But if there's 60 to 100 people coming in every month, I also think that like you could also have some kind of like once a month email for people, or once a month call for like everyone who's ending. Like if you're ending this month, you should log on to this call and we're going to do a celebration call. And I think this is like when you can celebrate them, anchor in their identity, and then pitch and do that like a once a month pitch to those 60 to 100 people.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Because yeah, always do like a kickoff call, get them all started and pumped up, and then anybody who's in the program can hop into that kickoff call always, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like extra like that, but they
Yeah.
love being on the call with me. And then like when I did try and pitch them Strong Feels Good, they were like so confused, because I'm like, oh yeah, because I've literally never talked about this, and I'm just like all of a sudden like, by the way, here we go.
Yeah, and be seeding Strong Feels Good. Like if that's the like main, it's a scalable offer, right? It's a group program.
Oh yeah, and I have coaches, so like I'm not doing all this stuff, is like all I have coaches doing it.
Yeah. So I would seed like Strong Feels Good should really start to be the thing that like your community knows is the ultimate home space where they're kind of supposed to go. Just the way that like if you follow me for a week and a half, you're like, oh, the Trailblazers, that's her thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very obvious. So you can be seeding that not only on social media, but also throughout like the actual pull-up program the whole time, that like ultimately you're supposed to end up over here, ultimately you're supposed to end up over here. Have the call once a month, celebration call, pitch, so that people are constantly very aware, this is where I'm supposed to end up.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest like gap, because I knew there was a gap
Yeah.
somewhere, and I'm like, that's definitely the biggest gap, because I just don't know that that's like the next thing to do. And also, I wrote on there right now they have 18 weeks. I give them all 3 tracks of the program right now,
Yeah.
and it's a lot. Like they're having a great time, they love it. But I'm also like, wait, actually, most of them get their pull up and have multiple pull ups within like less than 6 weeks. So it's
Yeah.
like they're already ready for like the next thing then probably.
This is so good because then you can, yeah, you sell them on the first 6 weeks and then it's like they decide what's next. And you can just let them know throughout. Either go to part 2 or go to, Strong Feels Good. And I think also just be even more forward facing on social media about Strong Feels Good being like the home space.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was nervous about that because I feel like the pull-up one is so unique. So everyone always like that's so easy. So I'm always
Yeah.
like trying to get them in with that one thing. But I've been starting to put like showing like our coaching stuff in the background, like just showing what we're doing.
Yeah, just talk about both. It's like
Yeah.
you're known for start here, you're known for end up here. And the way that Strong Feels Good is structured is it is the type of thing that they could re-sign on over and over, right? With their coaches.
Yeah, a lot of people just resign. I mean, the people I've had in it have had for like 3 years. Like they don't leave.
Well, that's amazing because
Yeah.
this is such a product suite then where you're constantly getting new people in with the pull-up program, living in Strong Feels Good, continuing to re-sign. And if at any point people are like, I want a lower proximity thing, it looks like they just go to the $47 a month membership and get programming.
Yeah, we just created that. So yeah, it's definitely, and just so everyone knows in here too, at one point, like I burnt all this down and rebuilt it. So it's so nice that it's building into a place where it's all like connecting now.
This is so connected. Does this feel good to you?
Yeah, so much better than before. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think this is stellar and like you can absolutely grow this to a gajillion dollars.
Yeah.
So go do it.
Okay.
Amazing. Heather asked, I'm still building my freebies and working on filling my one-to-one spots. At what point should I put the cost of them? I haven't been doing that. I've been having them reach out to me to inquire and fill out the application form. I know it's probably what feels best and wanted some feedback anyway. So with price transparency, I find that if you feel like you're in a stage of business where you want to be having conversations with people, you want them to really feel safe with you, build the connection, and you feel like then you're more likely to make the sale because you've gone through that whole process before you reveal the price point. I think that's totally perfect to have it be like that now, where you're not saying like on your Instagram stories, one-on-one coaching is X thousands of dollars. The reason I'm very price transparent now is because I'm intentionally saving myself time from people who aren't serious, right? So it's like I'm intentionally saying like, Amplify is this much, Trailblazers is this much, because I don't want to have the whole sales conversation only for it to be like, oh, I have a, $29 a month budget to grow my business, right? So I think for you, you can still say like, keep it more behind the scenes. And then over time, if you want to be more price transparent, forward facing, it's when the demand is there and you're kind of saving yourself sales conversations. Cool. Okay, amazing. Allison said, how do you determine what offers to sell? I understand the MRR plan, but is there any more to it than reversing the numbers? I have my goals, but they feel based on the numbers I want to hit versus how many people actually envisioning enrolling in the program. I'm a life coach who specializes in helping people align their goals and intentions with the season so that they can stop saying someday. So my goal for June is 15,000. Amazing. Here are the offers I could sell: one-on-one coaching, launching a group program for summer manifesting planner, masterclass bundle. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Is the fastest path to revenue typically one-on-one or group? At what point is it a sales and marketing issue versus an offer issue? If it's not working, how do you suggest getting this information? Okay, a lot to cover here. So for everyone, what I want you to think about is your ultimate goal is to fill your mid and high ticket offers. Mid and high ticket long-term offers. That's your ultimate goal in your product suite. Why? Because those are the products that are going to create the most monthly recurring revenue, right? Just like for me, my ultimate goal is to have Trailblazers and Amplify constantly full because those are the main programs that keep the business healthy, right? So what you want to focus on, Allison, is basically those are the offers that you're filling, your group coaching program. And for you, it looks like your one-to-one coaching and all of these little like summer manifesting planner, masterclass bundle. Those are touch point offers that allow people to try you on, get a taste of you, but then immediately upsell. So think of it too, as this is more of like a launch and sales training, but I'm going to go through this quickly it's like a funnel, right? It's a funnel. And you go from free to low ticket to mid ticket to high ticket. And the free and the low ticket gets people in at volume. And then it kind of gets smaller and smaller, the amount of people, but you want to convert as many as possible to more of those mid and high tier programs. So what I would do is say, okay, my main focus is to fill my group coaching program for the month of July, let's say, because that's going to be your semi-scalable program. And then beforehand, you're launching low ticket things like your masterclass bundle, and I would upsell into your group coaching program on the back end of those things. So you launch the masterclass bundle, people buy it. There's a little sales video where you have individual sales conversations with all of those people. Hey, you should buy the group coaching program. It starts end of July. It's for you if sort of thing. Then you do another launch vehicle, like a little planner or a little more of a launch vehicle masterclass style live thing, and pitch them on the back end. But it's all funneling people into the group coaching program. And then afterwards, you do a big push of the group coaching program. I'm going to give one more example of this. It's like when I did Trailblazing Content, that was a low ticket 555 program. And I pitched the Trailblazers on the back end of Trailblazing Content. A bunch of people bought the Trailblazers, and then I was able to go forward facing to social media and go, the Trailblazers is enrolling, 25 people are already in, you want to join us? And it made everyone be like, what's happening? But it was because you were pitching on the back end of your low ticket and free offers. So let me know if that lands, Allison, in terms of like orders of launching things. And then when it comes to one-on-one coaching, to me, there's such limited spots there that's something that you can just kind of sprinkle throughout. Like, I have one-on-one spots open. Who wants it? It's for you if, and it's going to help you XYZ, because you just need to fill one spot for each of those every time you launch it, every time you pitch it, every time you sell it. So I don't think you need to do huge launches for your one-to-one coaching. You can just sprinkle it throughout and sign on a client. Okay. Oh, and then your last question, at what point is it a sales or marketing issue versus an offer issue? Typically, it's always a messaging issue, right? If no sales are happening. If no sales are happening or really low sales are happening, it comes down to messaging, which is you're positioning yourself as the solution to the problem. People see you as an authority in the thing. They know that by buying your thing that you're selling, it's going to help take them to X desired result, what they want in their language. And they trust that you're the person to take them there. They trust that you're the person to take them there. All of that is wrapped up in messaging. The only thing that then puts gas on messaging is visibility. So once you have the messaging right and the people who are there are buying, if it starts to feel stagnant, it could be like, okay, let's go get in front of more people. But it's typically not an offer issue. It's always how the offer is being positioned, which is messaging. Okay. Cool. The only reason it would be an offer issue is if you aren't convicted in the offer, you don't like the offer and you don't believe in it, which means you're not selling it hard because you're stopping yourself from selling it, in which case clean it up so you're convicted in it. And then when you're 100% convicted in it, and if you already are, then it becomes a messaging game, a positioning game. Okay. Rose said, I have so much more clarity now than I did a year ago when I first started. Amazing. That said, I would love to get your opinion on backtracking. I feel like I didn't spend enough time in stage 1 and I moved right to a group program without enough of an audience. Now my messaging is much stronger than it was. I feel that I need to go back to one-on-one and smaller testing packages until my audience grows and there's more of a wait list for my group program. I would love to make that group slightly longer and make it evergreen, especially since I already have a portal of content. One thing I have learned is that open cart, closed cart launching is not something I love. Would love your opinion. Okay, first of all, how is everybody doing? Are we awake, alive? Come to the chat box, put alive if you're awake, alive, learning from other people's questions. Okay, amazing. So Rose, and this goes for everybody, I want everyone to hear me when I say this. You don't have to backtrack to one-to-one coaching and selling one-off sessions if you don't want to. If you already have a group program and you really desire to fill that group program, you have your framework, especially if you already have the video portal, it's set and done, and you don't mind running a group program that maybe if it's not filling with 10, 15, 20 people, and it's more like 5 to 10 people, and it still excites you and you'd rather do help and serve 5 to 10 people on a call than taking on 5 separate one-to-one clients, you absolutely can do that. The only reason that I suggest starting with one-to-one coaching is so you can gather your framework, you can gain confidence in your coaching, you can gather your style, you can determine what you want to put in a group coaching program to guide people in the masses. So you don't have to start there. That being said, I think what you can do is take your program evergreen, since clearly you want to, and you don't like open cart, closed cart launching, I think that's amazing. Take your program evergreen. You can sign on one-to-one clients if you want to charge more and work with people in that higher proximity. Amazing. You can sell one-off sessions to build trust with people and lead them into wherever you want to upsell them next and have cash injections. But what I would say is your main focus, Rose, is continuing to get visible, continuing to own your conviction of your work, continuing to refine the messaging, getting in front of the right audience, converting the right audience, doing low ticket offers that then upsells them either to the group coaching program Evergreen or one-to-one coaching. And I think if you have the group coaching program, I would continue in that direction. Because to me, it's like, I know I would rather serve 5 people in a group coaching program than sign on 5 one-to-one clients, even if that's where I was in my business. I remember when I was there and I preferred that, but it is ultimately up to you. So let me know if that answers that question. Okay, we're alive, awake. I'm going to take another sip of this. Okay, Ashley, I'm thinking of combining my weight loss group program and low ticket fitness membership into a weight loss mid-ticket program to help me hit 15K to 20K MRR. From a logistics standpoint, I'm wondering how long could I give myself to put this into action? How do you recommend shifting the deliverables and boundaries for myself and existing members before starting to promote and fill it? Or I'm wondering if I should keep the membership in my product suite and use that as a low touch point offer for a mid-ticket membership. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to what I was saying earlier. Y'all, a membership can absolutely work if you desire that. If you desire to have a home space where it's a different level of depth, it's a different level of depth on the transformation that you teach, it's less depth and low ticket, but there's a home base that is community forward, home base forward, and there's something there, there's deliverables there that feels good for your energy to keep alive in that low ticket membership. You guys absolutely can do that, and people do it really well, and it can work as this constant upsell, this constant touch point to then upsell people into a space where there's higher proximity. That being said, if you don't like the idea of something recurring, where yes, it's recurring revenue, but it's also recurring energy, and you're kind of on the hook month to month to keep it fresh, keep it alive, keep putting something into the membership portal, and you don't desire that, and you would rather do low ticket, more spontaneous offers where it's like, this month I'm going to run a boot camp. This month I'm going to run a free masterclass. This month we're going to do a Telegram challenge. This month we're going to do this over here. And it keeps it different, and you can be more on your own timeline and pull back or whatever. That's also an option, but I would have some low ticket entry points of something. It could be a membership or not. But I do suggest those being there so people can try you on and then upsell. And again, you can decide, do I pre-record something and then sell it? Do I run it live? Is it 3 days? Is it 2 weeks? Is it through Telegram? Is it on Zoom? Is it a challenge? What is it? What's the focus? That can alternate as long as those micro pieces, those touch point offers are pieces of the puzzle that are going to be deepened in that mid-ticket offer. So you can decide if you want to do what you want to do there. What I would suggest, of course, is making the membership deliverables that you're excited about and want to grow into. The other thing about a membership, I know I'm going on a tangent, but I want you guys to see all the different possibilities, is you can say that it changes. You don't have to promise X amount of deliverables or a monthly masterclass or we're doing this many calls. You can say this is a membership where every month the focus changes, but it goes deep on one subject that's going to help you lose the weight, get strong, and be your fittest, leanest self. And you can say that every month it changes. And 1 month it's a fitness challenge, and 1 month it's a Telegram broadcast, and 1 month it's a masterclass, and then just promote it forward facing as those themes and say, you know, join the membership, we're doing this month. So there's a lot of flexibility. It's really just packaging things slightly differently. Okay, now in terms of from a logistics standpoint, I'm wondering how long I could give myself to put this into action. You can put it into action today. You could put it into action right now after this call. How do you recommend shifting the deliverables and boundaries for myself for existing members? And do I do that before starting to promote and fill it? Yeah. So how do you shift anything in your business, you guys? You shift it. Okay, how do you shift anything in your business? You decide and you shift it. When I decided it was time to close down my low ticket membership Actions to Cash, I decided it. on the next live call we had, I announced it to the members there live. I sent out an email. I said, you have access to the next month so that everyone's membership got them an extra month over delivered there since I was closing out. I even gave them lifetime access to the materials that was in the portal. And I said, and now I'm canceling everyone's membership. It was done within 48 hours. And then it's just announced the new way that we're doing things. So you can shift things however you want, and you can shift them right away. And yes, I would shift them before you start to promote and fill it, because whatever you're promoting and filling, they need to get what they're paying for. Cool. They need to get what you're saying they're going to get. Okay. Any
Yeah.
questions there, Ashley? Feeling good?
Just one quick question. If I
Yeah.
were to keep the low ticket membership and then have the mid ticket, I guess how would that just be a call a month and saying, hey, if you guys want to upgrade, go to the next level? I guess, like, how do you kind of go in between having that low ticket subscription model to a higher ticket subscription model?
Like, how do you upsell them from low ticket to high ticket?
Yeah, from the low ticket membership to like a mid ticket membership.
Yeah, so I would have it in the low ticket membership portal. I would make it like their natural next step. Like even in the onboarding welcome video into the low ticket membership, it's like, you're here, amazing. This membership is your home space to help you XYZ. If at any point you want ABC thing, like, you know, you're meant for this and you want higher proximity to do that, your next step is insert mid-ticket membership. Here's how to upgrade. I would even have like the application or however they upgrade in the portal, like click here to upgrade to insert mid-ticket membership. So that funnel is like always happening on the back end. And then you'll just do seasons of pushing more low ticket membership versus mid-ticket membership. And the transformation will be, even though it's weight loss, it will be different levels of depth, and that's what you're selling. As
Love that.
differentiators.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Excited for you. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Alyssa said, this is the last question. Okay. So we're going to wrap up early if you guys want to stay on and do any like more Q&A. Alyssa said, I am working out a continuation for the CCA beta group. You answered a question about this in the Trailblazers Q&A last week, and I'd love for you to elaborate on it a bit. You said, structure an alumni group with the elements they really loved about the program. If it was the community liveliness and accountability feel, what is a way that I could create that doesn't require more time on my calendar? Less calls, but big intention. You said something to the effect of not just doing office hours where it's set up as just ask me anything, and that it's a recipe for fall off. What is the distinction between this and Q&A? The thing is, I know CCA beta members really enjoyed the community, personal transformation they experienced on the live call when they run through the exercises, and they absolutely loved all of the practical frameworks I gave. However, I do see that there aren't a ton of questions that come up for hot seat calls, mostly because the questions are a function of them practicing the tools. And depending on the number of clients they have, there are only so many at-bats they have in a given week in between training to practice. So what is the distinction you are referring to, and what do you recommend? Second, do you recommend selling this in a particular way? Thank you. Okay, I'm excited about this question because here is where I find that Q&As or hot seat coaching calls fall flat. And this is important for everybody. I find Q&As and hot seat coaching calls fall flat if there's not active teachings and materials that your clients are diving into so that they have opportunities for questions to come up because there's active material that they're implementing, trying on, they're workshopping on their own, and then naturally questions are going to come of that. So where I find people have where coaches accidentally sometimes create like continuation offers that they're not excited about is, amazing, you went through this program. The graduate program is just going to be biweekly Q&A calls, but there's no new material. And so the Q&A calls kind of fall flat. It's like, what are we asking? What should we be working on? What are we workshopping? So what I would recommend for you, Alyssa, is have the like continuation graduate program be things like what you're saying is what they get the most out of, which is at bats, right? Which is at bats. So I think what you could do, since you target business owners, is you could have it be like, as an example, biweekly calls where they bring their own blocks and they practice coaching each other through those blocks. And that's going to give them at bats. Or you could do things like bring case studies that you're working on with your current clients and what blocks came up and how you helped them move through it. And we'll all workshop together how you could be a better coach to help that client move through that block, or like what we would have done differently. And that's going to keep it more workshop style, which will keep it very alive rather than just like, what's your question? Because there's no materials they're still diving into more deeply. Does that land for you?
It does. And I think part of this will work itself out just in the second round and beyond, where I'm extending the duration of the container. And so I was also thinking of possibly doing that as a separate call for them, because they've already been through the practical curriculum, and giving them an opportunity to like an alumni rate for the second cohort, so
Yeah.
that, because it's getting all the material once is amazing, but if they do go through it again with this new lens of having already tried it, I know that will also be awesome for them. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's an and. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Either one, redoing or continuation, I think is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And in terms of selling this, so what I'm hearing just from other questions was that it's positioning this as the deepening of the things that they see that they need more of, and deepening of the things that they enjoyed most about the program.
Exactly, because your people know that they didn't go through this program and then become the best coaches they could ever be ever. It's like, of course they know that this is an evolution and a deepening, and you just explain that to them and then say, and I know that you want to be the best coaches you can be for XYZ reason, and like, here's the way that you can keep getting better at this, and that this is just going to help you across the board. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like the workshop idea, because I'd have, for every piece of the curriculum, provided real world examples of past interactions with clients and the step-by-step, but they expressed getting toward the end, because I gave like pieces depending on what the tools were.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're ready for the full conversation. Like, can we do a full rundown? So I actually think that that's perfect.
Amazing. I'm excited
Cool.
for you. Yeah, it honestly feels like just such a natural next step too. So that feels really nice.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. We still have 12 minutes. So if you guys have a question, I see some people are raising your virtual hand. And if you haven't already raised your virtual hand and you want to come up, we can just do a little bit more hot seat if people have things. So we'll bring Chloe up first. Hi.
Hello. I'm going to get off my walking pad because I know I'm not that coordinated. All right. So my question is, basically after this eye-opening experience, plus the support of Trailblazers, I have been like, hold on, Bubba, I'm literally in the middle of a sentence. I've been feeling like, now that I'm restructuring some things, there's just a few things that I'm maybe wanting like perspective on so that I can kind of find my clarity. So basically I restructured it. Like, long story short, I'm not even focusing on like low ticket and free. Like, whatever I have now is going to be what it is, and I will promote those. But I am still kind of seeing this divide in my audience. So I've been getting more clear on the type of woman that I want to call in, because after your training, I realized that I was running like 5 separate businesses. So now I'm getting more specific with like, even if she's a beginner, her mindset is not beginner. Like, she's very far beyond. So I'm more clear on that. The problem is, I kind of see these 2 tracks that are very separate from each other, but the way that I coach, they're very much together. So I had this idea that really like there would be 2 main signature programs. But what I've done is I've moved one of those to a micro program. And now that signature program is going to include more of what I had in that secondary program for pelvic floor. So that's just like the home space. And then they branch out from there. So the biggest issue is like, I've got an audience of people who want the whole shebang, like kitchen sink offer, which is now my signature program. Plus I've added way more pelvic floor focus in there. But then there's a whole audience of people who want deep support for just pelvic floor. And I think for my brain, also just going back to, I can't remember who asked it. It's like, once people like stop peeing their pants, obviously it's like, okay, what next? So I get where I could keep diving in and there's no gap there, but it just feels like really jarring for me to talk about, like, it feels like talking about pelvic floor. I get excited in a very different way, but I don't only want to focus on pelvic floor. And at the same time, it just feels jarring to jump back and forth from like nutrition to like talking about how to breathe right so that you're not peeing your pants. It's like,
Yeah.
it just feels like too much. So I'm just trying to get a sense on like, how can I capture this ideal woman with all of these problems and feel more streamlined, that I'm actually targeting and not just like throwing shit at the wall for like one-to-one coaching, where it is very much like I could literally help you with all of these things.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I think a couple different things. So I think it's actually not jarring for you to like talk about pelvic floor and then talk about nutrition. Just like it's not jarring for me to talk about like content that converts and talk about leadership, right? It all falls into the umbrella of whatever, like build your multi-six-figure business, or for you, like be lean, strong, and healthy and energized, right? It all works. So I think for you, the pelvic floor piece, it's like, yes, people can buy that as a one-off micro program. Like, hey, I'm not trying to like lose weight. I'm not trying to like work on my nutrition or my mindset. Like, I just want to know how to stop peeing my pants. Like, take this program, walk through, bada bing, bada boom. And within that micro program, if you desire it, you can offer things like higher proximity options to go through that material. Just like in Offer Art, I was like, if anyone wants higher proximity, we can do like a mini mind, or you can structure that differently and just have like a little one-off bump from selling that micro program. Amazing, perfect, awesome. And then what you can do in your more like home base kitchen sink mid-ticket thing is that's where you are doing the mindset, the nutrition, like all of the things that go into being your healthy, energized, lean, strong self. And what I personally would do, especially since you have like prenatal, postpartum, what I personally would do is like, you can choose to do either of those micro programs, and like the upgrade would be do those programs, and you can even have like a just moms are strong, like you're not in either of those stages, you're just strong and you're doing that program. But then you get access to these calls or materials where we are doing the nutrition, mindset, etc. And why that works perfectly, it's like you get access to whatever fitness program is like best for you in this season. Not confusing at all. Like, you're here in your pregnancy, you're here, you're not here, go over here, do this fitness thing. But we're all talking about nutrition, mindset, how we're leading ourselves in our health journey in this higher proximity space. And that way people can like go through these low proximity one-off, or they can be doing these fitness programs while they're having some proximity access.
So then follow up to that, that's kind of how I structured my one-to-one. Basically, I made both my gold and silver options one-to-one, except the highest proximity I'm cutting down and I'm like, I'm going to fully build this from scratch. Or silver, I'm literally going to hand select something for you. And then we're going to be talking one-to-one the entire time. So there, I'm going to be supporting you. So that's how I've structured it. I guess now it's just like the logistics of like, do I, like in these micro programs, am I giving them app access for 90 days where I have to pay for their client seat essentially, or am I doing it all in Member Vault and like those logistics? But I think the big thing is like, just for context, is like for any of these micro offers or like deeper dives, I've now separated out like, pregnancy, postnatal, like some of those like topics, like you said. I think for me, it's like just trying to secure the messaging, because for me in my brain, like I would love to just be able to like only talk about pelvic floor for like 6 weeks and then talk about this for like 6 weeks. But I think that's not
But you can do that. No, you can do that. I actually think that's great, because what you can do is you can have pushes in your launch calendar where you're promoting the micro thing. Like, let's call it like the pelvic floor program. And so all of the content can be around this pelvic floor thing. And you do a big push for that, but then you go into more of the push for the mid ticket, which is more of the nutrition mindset stuff. And so your content is more geared toward that, and you upsell people naturally on the back end, and it all works. Just the way that I did a big push for trailblazing content, all of my content was around content, and did a big push for that. And then when it got to be more of, okay, now I'm going to do a push for the trailblazers, I started to go more into like all of the things, and did a kitchen sink move. And then I started to go back into content geared towards Offer Art, because I going into the flows of the content's connected to what I'm selling. So you can do the same thing.
Because right now I'm going back to selling like one-to-one spots at with these new kind of like rules, so I can create like MRR and more boundaries as my other clients are going to be like graduating. So I think it's like now, I guess what I'm hearing is like I get to just kind of choose if I want to work with someone who has pelvic floor problems or wants to work on nutrition, and essentially just, kind of work through those things
Well, that's the
separate.
thing about one-to-one that's so easy, and you can let it be so easy. It's like you want to be the leanest, strongest version of you. And when we work one-to-one together, it's you and me, highest proximity way, where we do all of the things that are going to help you XYZ. And so you don't even have to let them know like that program and this thing. Like when someone works with me one-to-one, it's just like we're getting on Zoom calls and doing it, right? It's like you just go with them on it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to think of it as like tiers and programs, and it's just all the things wherever you're at in your journey.
Okay. My last little like short question is like, because I'm noticing like my audience, they just don't show up to live calls. They don't do it. So right now what I've been doing, because busy moms, what I've been doing is literally like, because I don't have a gigantic client base yet. So right now I'm just like, why don't I combine the monthly call that I'm offering all of these different types of people, literally just, we're all going to be on the same call. Doesn't really matter. It's just proximity, right? So one, how can I like, okay, ideally the dream is that people are showing up live because that's what I like. But I also notice, and it's been 5 years, people just don't show up live. So I guess, is there any way that I can like fill the gap, bump up the energy, especially if I know that it's going to be me? Like, what are some ways to like really either make this more enticing or to make it feel good for me with working with what makes sense for my audience?
Yeah. If you want some kind of live interaction, I would just really formulate what that live deliverable is to be really actually necessary and helpful for their transformation. So it's not just a Q&A call to have a Q&A call, because you might not feel like it's actually necessary, and then they might not feel like it's actually necessary. So if it is like, it's a workshop where we're doing this, and here's why it's important to show up live, and you create the deliverable because you actually think it's beneficial to them and their transformation, and then you express the importance of how being live for that deliverable is going to help them in their transformation, then you're bought in and they're bought in, and they'll show up, and you can make it work for your target demographic. So it doesn't have to be a 60-minute call. You could be like, we're going to plug in live for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever you think is necessary. And here's what we're going to do and why that's going to help you. And when you know that and they know that, they'll prioritize it. But if it's flippant, like, yeah, show up, don't show up. If you have a question, come, they're going to be like, I've got a million things to do. I don't have a question. I'm not showing up.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I'm just like, I'm providing so much fucking support. Like they don't really need it. That's probably why they're not showing up. And that's actually why I removed one of my one-to-one calls. Cause I'm like, I'm here for you. Like,
and we're going to talk about this more in Offer Art, but this is a great conversation because it's like, where are you putting in unnecessary deliverables that actually aren't helpful because we want to quote over deliver from a place of compensation, right? So this is a great conversation.
That call just might be optional for now. Just like, hey, no, all right, see you next month.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll continue to have this conversation when we go more into curriculum design. That will be helpful. Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap it up with Poonam.
Hello. Got my space headset on. Can you hear me, Houston? Okay. I just want a couple of clarifications regarding a few things that you mentioned here, because obviously I'm starting out, where I kind of am. What I was doing last month was my masterclass and then into my beta program. And so far, no signups. But a few things that you said here in response to other people's questions was obviously have your launch vehicle sell on the back end. That was one thing. And then the second thing was sticking to the low free if you're just starting out, and then have the launch vehicle. So I haven't sold the beta program apart from today and Saturday once, because obviously Friday I had my event, was the last day of my event. I sold it on the back of that. And then I spent the next couple of days, Saturday, Sunday, and today's Monday, right? Yeah. So the last 3 days selling it on my stories. I don't think I'm going to get signups because I think from my what we spoke about in the Trailblazers chat and the Q&A was when I had it my masterclass a low ticket, nobody was signing up, but when I switched it to free, I started to get signups, and I think we had this conversation in there, and I think it was a trust thing. So now I'm thinking, should I continue with the free offers? I'm just trying to picture what I'm supposed to be doing right now in terms of my offers, because I don't know if I can start claiming or selling my signature program for the founding member spots. If one, I haven't nurtured my audience enough, they don't have trust in me to even pay a low ticket price. They're not going to pay me the signature, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, the signature program price. And I have been transparent, again, what you said about price transparency, purely because I wanted to use it as a qualifier, because I don't want the time wasters. I know I'm never going to charge less than that for that program. So I wanted to use that. So a few questions wrapped into one. But should I just focus on my freebies and building the trust and not mention anything about the founding member program until I've managed to find a launch vehicle that can sell it on the back of, and just continue to try and find launch vehicles that I can actually get people to show up? Is that what I should be doing right now with my offers?
Would continue focusing on free value for sure. But I personally, if I were you, would start selling these like one-off touch point offers where you can really build deep relationships with people and get them huge wins in a way that's not scalable right now, because you don't need to worry about that. So I would look at your zone of genius and start doing things like content audits for $99, or like a one-off strategy content session where we map out your content, or you know, a one-off strategy session where we plan your launch vehicle or plan your launch strategy, or plan whatever that is, whatever your zones of genius are that would help your people. And I think that will start to work, because people will get that access to you, and they'll really get quickly like, holy crap, like she's really good at this. And they'll upsell into either your group program if you want it to be that, or have a season of some one-to-one coaching, and you can, you know, deliver that in a way that feels good for you. If you don't want to be on 60-minute Zoom calls, you could do, you know, 30-minute calls, you could do, you know, messaging access.
Well, I guess they could have an option, right? Because depending on their whatever they want to take next after the touch point offer, I can say, well, let's have a chat. What do you want? Do you want more personal, high proximity, or do you want the group? So I have got both the options there, because I already have people in the group. I've got a few people in the group, so all I've got to do is just create that portal and, you know, make the trainings. So when you say one-off touch point, because last month I did a masterclass, and this month I did the 3-day thing. I'm not doing that again. It was just, I nearly killed myself there, and it was my kids' school holiday as well. So I was just like there 1 o'clock at night. Yeah. So I was gonna switch it, because I realized the last topic was compelling offers, and I think that for the level of people that I'm talking to right now, they don't realize that they have an issue with compelling offers, and that everything starts from the offer. Yeah. Because I had to almost I don't want to convince people of it, but I had to almost kind of explain why, with some of the questions that I was getting in the masterclass, of why you start with the offer and your messaging and everything that trickles down from that. So I realized that a lot of the interest was around messaging, which is why, okay, I thought, let me do messaging workshop, because that's probably where people can see, like, oh, I'm doing content, it's not resonating. Oh, and then I say it's your messaging, and then they can kind of, that makes more sense to them than saying offer, right? Yeah. So the level that they're at, they can't see that connect. Yeah. So I was thinking to do messaging. So now thinking about my product suite. So if I do messaging this month, would I continue to do messaging, or would I flip it according to what I see this month? Because I don't want to keep flip-flopping, but I also want to,
like, you could do messaging workshops, messaging one-off sessions, content strategy sessions, content audits, messaging audits, like these sort of one-off things that people can try on, buy for low ticket. It will be a easier yes, and it will feel even like an easier yes for them because they're getting a level of proximity that they know they're not going to get in like a $27 boot camp that's for the masses, right? If they're getting like a $99 X audit with you or whatever that is. So that's what I would focus on. Lead with content and messaging I mean, that is really low hanging fruit for people. People definitely
Yeah.
gravitate towards that, and then upsell them to a bigger package.
Okay, so I would continue with the free workshop and
Mhm.
then offer these one-off touch point offers, which are around messaging. Okay, cool. I'm getting that now. And so then next month, I just continue to do the same thing, I guess, until I'm dialing in my messaging, because that's what I'm testing this month in June. I'm just testing my messaging. I'm like, right, just get lots of content out there and see what's landing. So
Yeah.
okay, cool. That sounds
Feel
fantastic.
good?
Thank you. Yeah, good. Thank
Okay,
you.
amazing. All right, you guys, you all are fabulous. I hope you are feeling clear on your plan for where you're at, where your focus is with your product suite, with continuations, and then seeing the long game vision of how you can make sure that you have a product suite that's scalable, that creates customer continuations, and is setting you up for high monthly recurring revenue so that you can have a growing, sustainable business. And that is what we are starting with in OfferArt. So that was week 1. What we're going into next is curriculum design. So curriculum design being everything from what is the focus of your offer? What are the deliverables? How are we structuring the trainings? What's the framework? How are we how are we guiding our clients to be good clients and show up to the calls and use the container well and lead themselves powerfully? All of that is coming in curriculum design for week 2. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be training drops in the portal. I'll obviously alert you when you're there. I adore you. Message me if you need anything, and let's keep going with OfferArt for artists. Okay. Bye everyone. Bye. Mwah.